welcome to Beerstories from Beerstory Brewhouse. These are my 5 best tips for a better efficiency. Remember, if you like the video, please click like and subscribe down the corner. You will help the channel out, you will help me out, and you get the news videos directly in your YouTube feed. And also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you stick around to the end, there'll be 2 videos up here that YouTube wants you to see. So these are my 5 best tips for a better mash efficiency. And what everything is about here is giving the enzymes the best conditions to cut down the starches and turn them into fermentable sugars. Basically, that's it. So tip number 1 is how you mill your grains. It should be fine, but not too fine. The roller distance should be, a starting point is the thickness of a credit card. And then mill it slowly. It's really important because what we want to do is break the malt into 3 equal size bits. But we do not want to create flour. Flour will give you a stock mash. But the enzymes need to get access to the starches, and that's why we break them up in the first place. So start off with a credit card size distance between the rollers, and then just mill it slowly. You can actually see a video in the description on how, I have some tips for doing this the best way. Tip number 2. pH. Lactic acid is a really simple way to lower the pH. The pH has to be in the range of 5.2 to 5.6. In this range, that's where the enzymes are most effective, again, for cutting down the starches into fermentable sugars. So we need to help them with the pH. You can do it by adding lactic acid. I use Brewfather to calculate this. You can also just add into your recipe acidified malts. And that's also very easy if you have a program like Brewfather or something like that. If it gets too low, you can get it up again by adding some baking powder. Basically that's it. It's really important, but it's pretty simple actually. Number 3, stirring in the mash. That's really important for the first 15 minutes at least, to stir really thoroughly. You don't want any dough in there. You don't want any lumps. You don't want any channels in your mash. So it's so important that you really stir in properly for at least 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. If you mash for an hour, I would do it the first half hour actually. If you only mash for half an hour, then do it for 15 minutes. It's really important. Number 4, use enough water. So if you read John Palmer's How to Brew, it's a great book. I recommend you to read that. He says that the studies show that the sweet spot is 2 to 4 liters of water to 1 kilo of malts. You don't want to go above that because that will create too thin wort, which will dilute the enzymes. So how the enzymes work is just bumping into the starches, and when they bump in, they'll cut off a piece of fermentable sugar and then float around again. If the enzymes have a too low a concentration, there will be a longer time for them. It will take a longer time for them to bump into the starches and cut off some sugar. So it will happen slowly. If the mash is too thick, the sugar can actually create some bad conditions for the enzymes as well. But it will also be too thick, so everything will happen slowly as well. So that's why you have to be in the range of 2 to 4 liters of water per kilo of malts. And I also always go with 3 liters, and then I also add a little more water to cope for the dead space in my brew system. But in the recipe, in my Brewfather profile for my equipment, I have set the water to grist ratio at 3 liters per kilo. And that's kind of my sweet spot, I think. So, number 5, add rice hulls. These are flavorless. I have tested that. They are flavorless. If you add this to your mash, well, don't put it in your mill. Just add it directly into your milled grain. They will help out, especially if you have milled too fine or crushed too fine. They will help out by lowering the risk of getting a stock mash. But it would also help you to get your wort to flow easily through all of your mash, and thereby increasing the chance for the enzymes to hit some starches and cut off some fermentable sugars. So it's really simple actually. Add 2 to 5% of rice hulls and you will probably get a higher efficiency. So basically that was it, but I have just one more little tip for you. When you sparge, do it with hot water. 80 degrees Celsius, I'll write what that is in Fahrenheit. Because think of honey. Sugar is sticky, it's thick, kind of like honey. And if you want to wash off some honey off a plate or something like that, if you do that with cold water, nothing happens. If you do it with hot water, you can rinse it off. And basically that's the same when you do a sparge. If you do it with hot water, you can more easily get the sugars to sparge out or to run out of the grains. So maybe that would help you as well. If you stick around to the end, there'll be 2 videos up here that you think you should see. Otherwise, please click like and subscribe down in the corner. You'll help me out, you'll help the channel out. And of course, find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you have any questions, write to me down in the comments or write to me through Instagram and Facebook, and I'll try to answer there. Have a happy brewing out there.